think men's and women's roles in the home have definitely evolved over time, like what our parents did compared to how involved dads and things are now. And I think your dad was probably ahead of his time in the way he served your mom. I mean, he did a lot more around the house based on what you've told me than my dad ever did. And so I think he had a good example.
Yeah, and he would always say, and he'd recruit us. Hey, I need you to do this and this and this. And I think my dad really modeled how do you do it? How do you serve and serve well? And that would be the thing that I would encourage guys to do is lay down your life by serving as Jesus did for you, and the return on that is huge. The bliss that goes along with that. You got to be very intentional to serve. And when you just think that way and you approach your each day that way, it just compounds over time. It becomes who you are, and then it becomes a lot easier. And so when you get that, you understand that, and you go, okay, now how do I live that? A little hack, and I've told this plenty of times, but I try to make my wife's coffee every day. For me, it's my intentional statement of, I'm here to serve you, right? And it's not to tell her that, it's as much to tell me that, right? Hey dude, your job is to serve.
It just makes me feel appreciated. I mean, I have to be at work at 7:30. I leave the house at 7:10, use school. I have my daughter with me. I either take her to school or I drop her off to carpool, and my mornings are rushed. I mean, he knows it takes a lot of time to dry hair and do all this. It takes girls a lot longer to get out the door. And so when I walk out the door in my rush, usually, running out the door 1 minute late, here's my coffee, here's my lunch, here's Carson's lunch already packed. And it just makes you feel appreciated for what you're doing. He's not taking advantage. He doesn't take for granted the sacrifices that I make for our family.
I mean, you just can't go wrong in marriage by saying, hey, I'm here to serve you. What do you need? How can I serve you today? If she'll serve me the more than she serves herself, she's doing her part. And if I'll serve her more than I serve myself, I'm doing my part. And part of what happens when you're coming together is you bring all that you are, your baggage, your preferences, your selfishness, and so does the other person. And the key to this whole deal going is that I've got too much of me in me, and I got to take that to Jesus. And I've got to lay that down so that I can be for her what he wants me to be. It's really Christ formed in me that helps me serve her. And that's the key, right? And she's got to do the same. And when that's, it doesn't mean every day's perfect. When it's not, there's collision, When I've got my self-interest and she has her self-interest, yeah, there's conflict, collision, and what have you. But when we lay that down, there's service to one another. And if people could just get that one idea and then seek to live that out, it would take a struggling marriage or difficult marriage to a whole nother level, I believe. And then here's the thing, right? When you take that into the bedroom, as a husband and wife, you didn't know I was going here, right? Yeah. But when you take that into the bedroom, that mindset, I'm here to serve her versus take from her, that changes the dynamic of your intimacy as husband and wife as well. So we don't have to overcomplicate it if we're willing to lay ourselves down and continue to serve each other no matter the environment we're facing.